The Lost Tomb of Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great is one of the most legendary figures in world history. Born in 356 BCE in Pella, the ancient capital of Macedonia, Alexander became king at the young age of 20 after the death of his father, King Philip II. By the time of his death in 323 BCE, Alexander had created one of the largest empires the world has ever known, stretching from Greece to Egypt and all the way to India. Despite his monumental achievements, there is one mystery that still puzzles historians: the location of Alexander the Great's tomb, the mystery of Alexander's death. Alexander died in 323 BCE in the city of Babylon, under mysterious circumstances. Various theories have been proposed regarding the cause of his death, including natural causes like a fever, poisoning, or even the exhaustion from years of military campaigning. Regardless of the cause, his death left his empire in disarray, as no clear successor had been named. What followed was a power struggle among his generals, known as the Diadochi, who fought for control over the vast empire Alexander had built. Soon after his death, his body was placed in a golden coffin, and preparations were made for his burial. According to historical accounts, the body was initially intended to be taken back to Macedonia for burial in his hometown of Aegae, modern-day Vergina, where his ancestors had been buried. However, the plans were quickly altered. The funeral procession turned towards Egypt instead, and it is there, in the city of Alexandria, where his final resting place is believed to have been. The tomb. In Alexandria. Alexander the Great's tomb is said to have been located in the great city of Alexandria, which he had founded in 331 BCE during his campaign in Egypt. The city became a hub of learning and culture, home to the famous Library of Alexandria and the Lighthouse of Alexandria, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Over the centuries, Alexandria grew to become a symbol of knowledge and sophistication. In the ancient world, the tomb of a ruler like Alexander was meant to be a grand, monumental structure that would showcase the ruler's importance and lasting legacy. Historians and ancient texts suggest that Alexander's tomb was just as grand as one might expect. It is said to have been an elaborate mausoleum, a place of pilgrimage for many, including the famous Roman Emperor Julius Caesar, who reportedly visited the tomb. The tomb was adorned with statues and beautiful artwork, and people came from all over the world to pay their respects. The disappearance of the tomb. Despite its significance, Alexander the Great's tomb has been lost to history. No one knows exactly when or why it disappeared. There are no definitive records of the tomb's destruction, but several events may have contributed to its loss. Over the centuries, Alexandria experienced numerous calamities, including invasions, earthquakes, and fires, all of which could have led to the destruction of the tomb. The tomb was likely intact for several centuries, but by the time of the 4th century CE, historical records begin to mention that the tomb was no longer visible. Some historians speculate that the tomb was buried beneath the sands, perhaps damaged by an earthquake or destroyed during the Roman period. Others suggest that it may have been deliberately concealed or lost over time due to the shifting of Alexandria's streets and buildings. Theories about the tomb's location. Over the centuries, archaeologists and historians have put forth several theories about the location of Alexander the Great's tomb. One popular theory is that the tomb was located within the Serapeum of Alexandria, a large temple dedicated to the Egyptian god Serapis. The Serapeum was an important religious site and was home to a famous library that rivaled the Library of Alexandria. Some believe that Alexander's tomb may have been housed within or near the Serapeum, though there is no conclusive evidence to support this theory. Another theory suggests that the tomb was buried underneath the modern city of Alexandria. The modern city is built on top of the ancient one, and much of the ancient city remains buried beneath layers of newer buildings. Excavations in the city have uncovered a wealth of ancient artifacts, but no clear evidence of Alexander's tomb has been found. In addition, some scholars believe that Alexander's tomb may have been relocated at some point in history. After his death, his body was briefly held in Babylon before it was transported to Alexandria. It is possible that, for various reasons, the tomb was moved or hidden to protect it from invaders or natural disasters. The search for the tomb. The search for Alexander's tomb has fascinated archaeologists and historians for centuries. From ancient times to the present day, people have speculated about where the tomb might be located. In the early 20th century, excavations were conducted in Alexandria in hopes of discovering the tomb, but no conclusive evidence has been found. Modern archaeological methods, including ground-penetrating radar and excavations of the city's ancient ruins, continue to be used in the search for the tomb. One area of interest is the so-called Tomb of Alexander in the ancient Egyptian city of Siwa Oasis, where some believe Alexander may have been buried after his death. However, the evidence remains inconclusive, and the search for his final resting place continues. Why the tomb remains important. The mystery of Alexander the Great's tomb is not just about finding a burial site. It is about uncovering more of the life and legacy of one of the world's greatest leaders. Alexander's influence on history is undeniable, and his empire shaped the course of Western civilization. His conquests spread Greek culture throughout much of the known world, and his military strategies are still studied in military academies around the globe today. The discovery of his tomb would provide valuable insight into the ancient world, offering clues about how such a powerful leader was remembered and honored by those who followed him. It would also be a symbolic victory for archaeologists and historians who have long sought to uncover the secrets of one of the world's most enduring mysteries. Conclusion. The lost tomb of Alexander the Great remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of ancient history. Though many theories exist, no one knows for certain where his tomb is located. The search for it continues to this day, and the discovery of Alexander's final resting place would be a momentous event, shedding light on the life and legacy of one of history's most influential figures. Whether the tomb is buried beneath the sands of Alexandria, hidden beneath the sea, or lost to the ravages of time, it remains a symbol of history's most enduring secrets, waiting to be uncovered.